back to the meeting room. So, I would like for you guys to tune in, join T.G.I.F.J on Facebook, right? Because today we have Rick Harmoney in the building. He's going to be giving you a little sneak peek before his little preview after the interview. So, can I have Rick Harmoney up on stage, please? Remember, we are at the meeting room. 134. Come in. So, this is my homeboy. We love him. Ricky, can you give the crowd a little something? Acapella style.
Acapella style. You know I gotta represent for the real squad, cause a lot of people always put a front on, and I ain't really about that. I just swerve and bounce back, then hit them with a soundtrack that'll make them think about that. So every time.
You can't get mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me loud? All right. Yeah. Now back to Ricky and Joanne Martinez. Thanks, guys.
Hey, welcome back to T.G.I.F.J. We're excited to be here. We had to squeeze in our boy, Rick Harmoney, because he's got some endeavors going on this summer, so we'll be missing him. But we're just welcoming you again, and we're going to take a few minutes, wait, so that we can generate, a crowd, some viewers. We don't want anyone to miss this live. Bloopers are always better when we're live, so we're just taking a few moments, letting our viewers share the video as we're here live so that more of you can experience Ricky live. We're really excited tonight. You ready, Rick?
Yeah.
Don't be nervous. No worries. Those are your friends out there. You're used to doing this. So don't even style on us today. I'm really excited, y'all. And thank you for those of you that are in the house. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. I'm sure Ricky does too. But don't stare at him too much. So here we go. Share those videos, y'all. Share those videos. So Ricky, we're going to get ready to ask your viewers or answer some questions for your viewers. Some of the questions that I have are questions that someone told me that we should ask. Just so that you know out there, I didn't share the questions with him like I usually do with our guests. So they're just as new to him as they will be to you, except those of you that shared the questions that they would like to know. So we're going to start like I always start out with my interviews. And as those of you already know, this is Rick Harmoney with us. And those of you that do not know, I'm going to allow him some space to tell a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So, as some of y'all may know, my name is Rick Harmoney, and I am born and raised in the 609 area code. So.
Don't style. What does that mean?
Atlantic County area. But more Galloway.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And shoot, so all my life I was raised Catholic, and from there, one of my best friends, his brother, was sent to prison. As soon as he came out, he became Muslim. After that, he tried to convert a couple of his young homies, and I was one of those kids. So I started going through the process of becoming Muslim. And my one friend, she was Christian back in high school, and she was like, "Boy, you tripping," because she offered me skills, and I was like, "Assalamu alaikum," and she was like, "You need to be delivered." And at the time, I thought like delivered was something bad. And then we kind of just had parted our ways and had our little arguments here and there. But one day after detention, and she was actually in FCA called Fellowship of Christian Athletes. It's in most college campuses and high schools, which is a really dope program. And she just got done that program, and afterwards it was like the 5:30 detention buses and after school buses. And she was like, "Hey, you should come out to this youth group called Ignite." And I was like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling it. And then she was like, "Well, all your homies gonna be there." I'm like, "Nah, I'll see them tomorrow." And then she was like, "Well, they got free food." I said, "Word, what bus we getting on?"
Oh, so it was the freebies that got you. So before we continue, I just want to make sure that the listeners out there can hear us clearly. I know I'm a little bit louder than our guest, Ricky, but it's important to us that you're able to hear, what he's got to say. But I definitely want to give a shout out to whomever that person is that introduced you to this walk. Who is it?
Simone Smith.
So Simone Smith, if you're not out there listening, a shout out to you. I commend you for what you did and for being obedient. And if you are not listening right now, I'm going to make sure that we share this video for you. So Simone Smith. Good job, girl. And you also mentioned Ignite, and I think that it's important that, people just know where you come from or where you began your walk. What's Ignite?
So Ignite was a youth group that started out in Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. And what's dope about it is that it wasn't anything powered by like a church building. It was just a youth center where people came to hear the message of Christ. And I remember the first time I went, like when I was raised Catholic, I always just questioned why Jesus was on the cross. And I never really got the answer to why he hung on the cross. And then the one night when I went to Ignite is when they played a clip of Passion of Christ and elaborated what Jesus did for my life. And then at that moment, I was just like struck.
That's really awesome.
And, they did that with a lot of students there. Just elaborated the gospel and really showed it in their lives.
So visuals of different things are really impactful, obviously, for young people. So if there's any youth leaders out there listening, youth pastors, be mindful that visuals are very impactful when it comes to young people. And who was the person that was over Ignite?
Brian Howard. I'm actually cool with the whole family, their family.
I've met some of the family. I haven't met Brian, but kudos to you as well for, beginning the process in his life, in obedience to the Spirit of God, because I know that, a lot of times if it's not something that's, going to attract a lot of people, sometimes, we don't want to participate, but, this is a perfect example here. Like I say all the time, if the person that ministered to Lecrae, for example, thought that the job was too small, we would all be missing out on the blessing that he is, just like you. So I commend Brian for the work that he began. So to go forward, one of the questions I do want to ask you, and the reason why I want to ask you this is because I know that this becomes very controversial, and I'm interested to know what you're going to say. And the question is, what do you go by? And I mean, like, do you go by a rapper that's a Christian? Are you a Christian rapper? Like, how do you go, how do you, how can I say that this is who I am, and tell me why?
Well, I always like to consider myself an artist. I don't even call myself a rapper or like when I tell people that I make music, I tell them, I don't even say I'm a rapper. I say I'm an artist who creates music. But a lot of times when they say, oh, like, what kind of music do you make? And I'm like, well, I rap. And they say, well, what kind of rap music? I'm like, Christian rap. So I'm really not ashamed of the title or anything, but I don't get mixed up in that as well, because it's just an argument that really doesn't need to take place. People are always going to categorize you for what you are. You know what I mean? If you're a Christian, they're going to say, hey, because you're doing those things, you're a Christian. Same thing as a rapper. If they recognize something different in the rapper, they're going to say, hey, well, there's something different about him. So
I think that's an important point that you make. We have to, as the body, we have to remove ourselves from, all these unimportant arguments. If the most important things that connect us, that make us a body, are in place, all those other things that really don't make a difference, we need to leave that outside of the equation. And like you said, live a life that's exemplary. And, I totally agree. I know, you know how much I love rap. Yeah. And we talk about these things all the time, but, we've both discovered that there's a lot of pointless arguments when it comes to what title. At the end of the day, we have one job, to, enlarge the kingdom At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So I commend you. Is there anything else additional that you want to add in regards to that whole title thing?
Well, what's pretty cool is I was actually listening to my old music like maybe a week ago, and just listening to the words. I was just a kid who loved Jesus and who loved rap music, and it just showed in my music, like just the love and the passion for Jesus. And I think if you love something so much, it's gonna show regardless in what you do, whether it's rap, whether it's at your job, whether it's being a nurse or a contractor. It's gonna show in what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And if you love those two things and you mix them together and you do it effectively, and with a great example, that's pretty commendable and really awesome. Yo, that's what's up. Okay. I'm excited to have him here. A lot of these things that he's telling me, I already know. But I thought that you will probably want to know, because I know that, in Atlantic County as well as outside of the state of New Jersey, he's become very popular. And we've known him for a very long time, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, one of the things that I did want to ask you was, initially when you began this journey of, expressing yourself artistically through music, would you say that you had an amazing support system?
Throughout Parsi, definitely. I remember when I first came to your house.
See, I was going to ask about that. He's getting ahead of us, but go ahead, tell me. I know why he's laughing, y'all. He's going to tell you.
So, I remember I did this one song. You can see it on YouTube if you don't want. It's called The Lord Chief Rocker.
The what?
The Lord Chief Rocker.
The Lord Chief Rocker. Okay.
So I remember I did that one song for them, and they just made these faces like, oh yeah, that's dope, yeah, that's cool. And inside they always tell me like, they seen a gift in me, but just at that time it needed work.
Definitely. You guys, when we first met Ricky, we saw the love of the Lord, and maybe he could share with you how we even came in contact with each other, because I really don't remember. But I remember, like he said, the first time he rapped, I was like, whoa, okay. Make sure that you encourage and don't be negative. But I thought, oh, he needs work. But what was important is that, thankfully we were able to see a gift and encourage him and cultivate him. And even though we're not rappers ourselves, we love rap. I mean, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm old school, and rap is rap. But, we always encouraged him, and we've seen him grow tremendously. And that's not because of what we did alone, but because you committed yourself. But, in having that conversation, initially when you came, to us, meaning Soaring Diamonds, you were a little bit rough around the edges, but what would you say that it was that helped you grow as far as a lyricist?
As far as a lyricist, I guess just dedication to the Lord, just seeking Him first, and just understanding who God was more, so that I can glorify Him in the type of way through my lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Because, it's easy, like I always say, it's easy to rap, it's easy to rhyme your words, but if there's nothing supporting it, like, it's just dead. Like, even if, like, you see rappers who rap about selling drugs and doing all this stuff, but they're really living in the suburbs in $1 million homes, not doing any of that stuff.
Definitely.
And you can tell through their lyrics that they're just fronting. And I think it's the same thing with rappers who say they're Christian and Christian.
Wow, that's powerful. Hold on one second. I want to make sure that my viewers can really clearly hear him, because this is very important. And the reason why I say this is because, I remember my kids when they were growing up, they used to always say that the church was not relevant to them. That was for old folk. And it's interesting the point that you make, that it's important not to front. What do you mean by that?
By just faking it for people around you, or putting on the show.
That's the truth. So would you say that that's something that happens a lot of times in the art world?
I believe we put on masquerades so that we can appease to certain people.
Wow. And you heard it here first from an artist. And I think that it's important though, that we're honest with ourselves and with, the people that are watching our lives, because in order for us to be effective, we have to be, examples, if I may say. So you say that, dedicating your life more to God and those type of things are what help you better with your lyrics. And at what point did you realize that that was a step that you had to make, or how did that come about?
When I realized that my gift wasn't just for me, but it was for others, to help them grow and to help them see God in a type of way where they would get excited and engage in their communities. You know what I mean?
How did you come to the realization that, it wasn't just for you, it was to share with others?
When I seen the lives changed by it. So it's just mind blowing when you see someone who says, "Hey, your stuff inspires me." I'm just like, dang, like me living out here in Galloway.
So would you say that you came up with these resolves on your own?
No, had the guidance of Mike and the guys in men's group who shaped and molded me, and discipline, encouragement, basically straight discipleship.
So discipleship is necessary?
Definitely.
Why? And I think that this is a really important question. And what type, I want to ask you, why discipleship? And I want to ask you, like, specifically, what are the different, which different people help disciple you, and how often does it have to happen for it to be considered discipleship?
I mean, it's something. Discipleship is nitty gritty, like the dirty stuff, because you see where people's faults are. You see just the transparency in their lives and who they are as a person, and it's just getting in there, shaping and molding the person, and not creating, but just getting involved in their lives and all that mess and trying getting it cleaned up. You know what I mean?
So you mean to tell me that in order to grow, you can't just throw stuff under the rug and pretend it doesn't exist?
No, all that stuff has to be exposed. Otherwise, you'll never be able to grow from it.
I most definitely agree. Just to reiterate, whatever things are going on in our lives, in order for us to grow and in order for there to be effective discipleship, these specific things need to be dealt with and addressed. Do you think just sometimes or on a regular basis?
No, this is daily.
Daily. So you mentioned that Mike Smith. Who's Mike Smith?
Eternal art.
Eternal art. Mike Smith is eternal art. So he was one of his, I want to say, mentors.
You can send in the picture.
Mike Smith is over there, handling some other things. Who else would you say, as far as growing in the Word and growing as a leader? Because, in essence, that's what you are.
You.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm his leader still. But, yeah. And who else you think? Would you think?
Other artists have inspired me and given me wisdom on just how to maneuver through the musical fields and not try and fall into, any temptations with that. I'm drawing a blank right now. But but artists like Mike Forrest, one of I Am More. Shout out to I Am More. We got I Am More in the building.
Okay.
But yeah, Mike Forrest is actually one of the first Christian rappers to inspire me, and just he was there when I first started, and he even was on my first project. So
that's what's up. So as we're still generating listeners, something that I really do want to express is that it's really important for artists out there that are not just performing, but they're about the business. They're about the walk. That you remember that you are representing a light to someone's life. And, it's your responsibility to be an example, not just talk about it, be about it, and, help somebody out so that they can grow the same way, like he said, Michael Forrest, shout out to Michael Forrest from I Am More, inspired Rick. It's really important, in order for us to grow, we both agree that it takes a number of people. It does take a village to raise a child or a artist that does rap. It takes a number of people. And I know, firsthand that your parents, although they don't do rap too much, they've been an inspiration because I know them personally. So shout out to Mr. and Mrs. La Bastida.
Yeah, they've been consistent. They come and support me wherever I have a concert, wherever, if the venue's within driving range, they always come out. So.
And don't forget grandma.
Yeah, abuelita.
Abuelita's always out there. It's really exciting, and what would you tell a person though that, they're walking, for the Lord, but they don't have that support system?
There's definitely a support system. It's never, hey, no one's supporting me or no one's there for me. There's always someone there. Regardless if you don't see them, they're always there, either, praying in the distance or, throwing up little comments like, keep going, stay engaged, and, stay connected with those people.
Yeah, it's really important that, I'm really backing off of everything that he's saying, because I don't want his words to just, fall on the wayside. It's important that we do encourage somebody. It's important that, we serve as a support system for people, and know that, like he said, somebody's always praying. I know a lot of people, even people that, rap might not even be their thing. I know for a fact that you've been an example and encouragement to, to people of all ages. So, it's important that you continue to stay, focused and stay about the Father's business. But
and I even had encounters where people said, hey, like, I don't like Christian rap, I don't like what it is, and my life, the way I live my life just represents something so different that they're like, hey, you made me rethink about Christian artists, because they always have this negative picture of who Christian artists are, but because I live life with certain people, they're like, hey, like, you made me rethink that a Christian artist really lives up to what they say.
And that's really impressive. You say that, and the thought that comes to mind, I look over there because my girls are over there, but one of the things I do remember way back, I've been serving the Lord since, I want to say late 90s, and back then, the Christian music scene was not what it is today. My kids used to always say, like, there is nothing for us to listen to. What you think? You think that has changed?
It has, definitely, because I've done life with a couple artists, and they're just really about what they say. They're really like seeking the Lord with all their heart. They're really investing back into their communities. They're really pouring into others and discipling others, and it's pretty cool to see. You see it around other artists.
Definitely, definitely. But now that you say that, what would you say, to young people that say, this is something that we hear all the time, young people that say, all those Christians, they fake. What'd you say to those people?
I think that's just an excuse to not get involved with people. That's just saying, hey, I'm going to believe the stereotypes. I'm not even going to see it for myself to see if they're real. I'm going to just run with it and not actually see if these people are really about who they are.
Have you experienced people, though, that, were not actually living up to what they were?
At times, but, you have to wrestle through it and help them grow as well. You just can't shun them and be like, oh, you're not about what you say. You know what I mean?
So I hope that you guys caught what he said. That was a really important point. It is true that a lot of times, people don't live up to their, what they've been confessing or saying. But even when somebody is not living accordingly to what they're professing, it's still important that we continue to encourage them. And even more importantly, this is something that we've done with Ricky a number of times. you know, whenever you see somebody that's not living up to par, you know, us as believers, it's our responsibility to pull them in. We pulled in Ricky several times, and I know that we're short on time, but I think this is important, and if someone needs to tune out, you know, because I know people have things to do, you know, feel free. As you know, it's going to be, you know, on Facebook, you know, for a while, so come back, listen to the rest of the interview, but, you know, I think it's really important that these conversations are being had, because there is a stereotype, and this is one of the things that I want to break through, you know, and I know that this is your desire as well, is the stigma that is on us as believers. What you say to people, you know, that say, he fake like everybody else, he ain't really about it. Like, how do you encourage somebody that tells you, you know, that whole thing ain't real?
I think you just have to continue to build with them and get under their skin so that you can show them that, you know, that's not who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And just continue living a life like Jesus would, and continue, you know, growing in the Word, continue praying for that person, continue just building with that person in any type of way, even if it's just like a little cookout, or, you know, you bring them to Sunday service. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So it's definitely, basically what you're saying is we still have to have community with people.
Yeah, you can't just, you know, shun them because they still in the world. You still have to, you know, they're your friends, you know what I mean?
Definitely. And you know, while we're on this conversation, I do want to say, or I want to repeat some words that the truth, you know, the truth. He's an artist too that raps. Was that good? Was that good? He says, you know how that old school song, they used to say the church is a hospital and it's filled with sick people. I'm about to rap. Nah. And sick people do sick things. And I use that line a lot because, you know, I'm just saying that to our viewer. You know, we're going to fall short at times. But it's our responsibility to lift each other up, to correct each other, so on and so forth. So, you know, it's important that instead of us, you know, becoming critical, that we remember that when we point our fingers, there's three pointing back at us. And it's our, you know, responsibility to help each other grow, not to push each other down. And, you know, I want to probably end with, you know, you sharing with our viewers, what is one of the challenges you find that you had in the very beginning when you first gave your life to Christ?
I guess proper discipleship, just people who, you know, of course, you know, you always want to lead the person to Jesus, but if you just lead them to Jesus and don't just let them go after that, you know, it's difficult for the person. They just fall right back into the world. So I think proper discipleship, where you actually get under their skin, where you actually build with them and wrestle with them and fight through their struggles with them, because that'll help shape the person, and, you know, they might go and touch millions more. You know what I mean?
That's important, definitely. Now, I want you to be a little bit more personal. What are some of the personal struggles that you had as a believer?
One of the biggest ones.
Tell it, boy. Tell it. Don't stop.
Was pride, and you know what I get a lot now. Like, I even feel weird talking about it because, like, every time I go to a venue and I meet the person who booked me, or I'm just building with someone, they're like, "My gosh, you're so humble," and I'm like, just even talking about it, I don't feel humble.
I get you.
But God really stripped away my pride, because I remember, like, I remember the first time I walked into Ignite. I had like the newest J's on, and the kid was like, "Oh, you got cool Jordans." I'm like, "Yeah, I know they cool. What's up?"
Oh no, he did.
Yo, and the kid looked at me like, "Dang, like this dude."
So pride. You would say pride. How about girls?
Girls.
Because I'm sure people ask, you know, wonder. I personally know some stories that I used to say, "This is the man right here." Stay humble, bud. But tell me, how about issues with girls?
I mean, you know, I'm pure still.
What does that mean, pure? You washed in bleach or something? Why? He's blushing. Yeah, give us some.
She put me on blast, but yeah, I'm still a virgin, and that's a promise I made to myself to stay committed until I get married.
Just to yourself?
Well, and to Jesus.
Oh, I was gonna say stop.
But yeah, I'm waiting till marriage, and especially being young and saved is shout out to Chris.
Yes.
But being a young and saved believer is it's just a difficult walk. There's so many temptations with pretty girls, and trust me, I've been there. But you have to fight through it and wrestle through it so that you can save yourself.
Also, that Jesus can continue to keep you safe.
Yes.
Safe. And when he says that he is being truly humble, there's many a nights that my husband or like he said, Mike or myself, had to really sit down and walk him through some of the challenges because, I remember one time specifically, I'm not going to put you on blast, but I remember one time, in college, there was a girl committed to making this guy fall. And it was a challenge, but I commend you in public. And I'm going to continue to pull you by your hair and pull you by your ear and get somebody to fix you if we ever had that issue. But, I'm saying that it's possible. I mean, he's a pretty cute guy. Girls, he's waiting. He's married. Letting y'all know right now, you have to come through his mom, his dad, me, and the rest of the crew. But
just like 36 people.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with that. But it's really important, to talk about these things because majority of young people will say, "Oh no, he doesn't like girls."
I mean, it's not the easiest task. It's difficult, but it's a daily struggle. It's a daily battle, and you just have to continue to persevere through it. You just can't say, I'm feeling like I just want to give it up today and just go and do recklessness.
Lord have mercy. Hold on, brother. Hold on. I mean, no, these are things that need to be discussed. Like, seriously, here at Soaring Diamonds, we discuss life.
But I think what's kept me so focused is that's not my focus. Like, my focus is to honor the Father and continue to please Him. And I feel like if I were to just throw it all away, how many people would that affect, especially with the platform I now have? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we've always talked about is how important his life is, not just for him, but like he mentioned, how he's touching so many other people. And this is a good place to say, that we a lot of times think that because we don't hold titles, quote unquote, we're not leaders. But the minute that we take on the name of Christ, we instantly become leaders. Mm-hmm. But even more importantly, we instantly become empowered. So like he said, it's not just, I'm not, but it's that his focus is something greater than a momentary pleasure. I mean, let's say it the way it is because it is what it is. But the last thing I want to ask you, Rick, is, you mentioned the challenge that you had in the beginning, but I want you to talk about two things. A challenge that you still have that you had then. So let's deal with that one first. A challenge that you had when you first got saved and it's still a challenge today. How do you overcome? Is there one? Don't make me put you on blast.
No.
Ooh, okay.
So, there's just like certain lust issues I still battle with, but the way that I get through them is, I contact one of my brothers or sisters in Christ, and they walk me through it. They pray for me. They say like, well, what? Just continue to stay focused on the kingdom. Continue to seek after Jesus. This is what the Bible says about this certain topic, and they just guide me through it, and that's pretty encouraging when there's people there who are willing to carry you through your burdens. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I've carried him. See my muscles? That's carrying this one.
I only weigh like 100 pounds.
No, but I just want to clarify something. He said sisters. He don't mean, other 20-something-year-olds. He's talking about, you know, women in the face.
Wise people. People with wisdom.
Yeah, it's very important because sometimes, you know, this is truth be told. Sometimes we get caught up sharing some information with certain individuals, and before we know it, we're in a place that we don't want to be. Is there challenges that you have adopted, or now that's not the word, now you have as you've grown older, and now you have, you know, more, let's tell it, you have more followers, you have more, he's got groupies, y'all. He don't like me to say that, but he does. But do you find that there's new challenges with that?
Not really. Like I said, my focus is not to, like, as soon as something like that arises, I just, like, pretty much shut it down. Like, I don't let it grow to be anything else than it already is. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Because if it's too much of you, what has to happen?
Die to self.
You gotta die to yourself.
Pick up the cross.
Pick it up, deny yourself, and follow him. Something that he said, and I just want to reiterate, and then we're gonna, you know, move to the next segment, is that, you know, it's important for us to stay humble, and more importantly, our focus needs to be on the Father, because where your focus goes, that's where the power flows. So, yo, you might want that one. So stay focused on the Father. And I commend you, Ricky.
He's giving me bars.
Yeah. Yo, I do that every so often, y'all. Don't let them fool you. But thank you for coming. We're going to miss you. It's just going to be a few weeks in the summer, but I'm going to miss you. Although he gets on my nerve all the time. I beat him up all the time, but I'm still going to miss him. So where are we going from here, guys?
Now, guys, we are back for the live rap session. So let's get this popping, Ricky, and show them what you're working with. Wait, I know you need your water. Got you covered.
So they're preparing there real quick, and we're really excited. Ricky.
Yeah, mic check 1, 2. Hey, yeah, let's go. I don't think they get it. This life that I'm living, they think I'm pretending. Who are they, the critic? The way that I walk, I live what I talk. You can't keep me quiet. I'm still making noise. I speak for the ones who don't have a voice. Identity struggle, legal in the void. They must have never knew they had a choice. All they were taught was to kill and destroy. Innocent kids at the way for the joy. Cheer for combating and ready for war. With no hesitation, they ready to pull the trigger and let up a couple of you. Woo! So what am I supposed to do? Sit back, relax, and play like it's all cool? Nah, fool, I've been out here making moves, fighting for these people's lives while you trying to pick and choose. So what you gonna do? Still can't make up your mind? Oh, you still think about it, but you're running out of time and you ain't never gonna get it back. So you better begin to start thinking back. No time for games, I gotta be an impact. And since they weren't, I've been about that act. Every single time when I walk out that door, gotta make sure that I'm locked and loaded, cause anything can happen when you at war. So everywhere I go, I make sure they know I'm about that. About that, no other way, cause I'm about that. About that, every day, yeah, I'm about that. About that, I can't be tamed, cause I'm about that. About that, just know I'm about that. I'm not saying that I got it together, I'm just saying that no matter the weather, extremely hot or freezing cold, pour a rain or storm or snow, I'ma serve a minimus, I'm about his business. Ain't no denying who he is, cause he stays true to all his promises. What's your excuse to not acknowledge him, huh? Cause me and the genie granting your every wish. If it's a bait, it'll fade like smoke in the wind. I pray you understand what your true purpose is. Don't take it for granted, cause every single day's a gift, let's go. Every single time when I walk out that door, gotta make sure that I'm locked and loaded, cause anything can happen when you at war. So everywhere I go, I make sure that they know I'm about that. About that, no other way, cause I'm about that. About that, every day, yeah, I'm about that. About that, I can't be tamed, cause I'm about that. About that, just know I'm about that, boy. So, because this is T.G.I.F.J, Boss Orange Diamonds, I got a sneak peek of something new from the mixtape. So, y'all get that this summer. That's how we came up.
Okay.
Hey. Y'all with me? I still got viewers? Still viewers on that joint?
You got views, you got viewers.
Y'all get the sneak peek. This going to delete right afterwards, so. Yeah. Hey. Woo! Can you tell me what it means to be a king? Can you tell me what happens when you rule over everything? Can you tell me? Cause I really wanna know. Can you tell me? Cause I'm not trying to lose my soul. Whoa, you ain't got all the answers, so you better slow your roll up. I ain't got all the answers, but I know very well who does. So quit acting like you know us, cause you have no idea where we came from. And every time that we show up, guarantee that we always gonna be judged. Cause I remember way back when we were all lit, chasing the American dream until we got pitched, This ain't the life that we chose, this the life that chose us. Hey, cause he died and he rose, but truth be told, that's how we came up. That's how we came up.
Hey.
That's how we came up. 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 Hey. That's how we came up. That's how we came up. That's how we came up, and I'm out.
So we just like to thank Rick Harmoney for coming out to the meeting room, hosted by T.G.I.F.J, and we like to thank everybody that's out in the crowd for thanking you and supporting Rick Harmoney. But guys, for real, if you guys would like to see any more sneak peeks or any more music with Rick Harmoney, where do they go to?
You can go to my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's all the same. Rick, @Rick_Harmoney with an E. So it's Harmoney.
There you go.
Monday.
So that's where you go to get any information that you have for Rick Harmoney. And just don't forget to subscribe to T.G.I.F.J and like the page, share the page. Don't forget to share. Thanks for tuning in to T.G.I.F.J. Thank God I follow Jesus.
Yes. Woo!